Question number 176. Mark the correct option. And the very first option given is mucus coating of epithelium lining, the GIT, that is gastrointestinal tract, is considered as physiological barrier, and this is an incorrect option because it is not a physiological barrier but a physical barrier. The second option given is saliva in mouth is an example of physical barrier of innate immunity, and this is an incorrect option because saliva and tears are the example of physiological barriers and not physical barriers. The third option given is interferons, which protect virus infected cells, are glycoproteins that constitute cytokine barriers, and this is also an incorrect option because these interferons protect non-infected cells from the infected viral cells. So they will not protect virus infected cells but will act as cytokine barriers for non-infected cells. So option number 3 is also incorrect. The fourth option given is macrophages in tissues, natural killer cells, PMNLs and monocytes in blood are part of cellular barriers providing innate immunity, and this is a correct option because all these cells act as cellular barrier and provide innate immunity to our body. So the correct answer for this question is option number 4. Let's discuss our next question. Question number 177. Read the following statements. The very first statement is B lymphocytes produce an army of proteins against invading pathogen that are called antibodies, and this is a correct option. These antibodies are glycoproteins which are produced by B lymphocytes on activation when they encounter pathogens. The next statement given is the T cells themselves do not secrete these antibodies but help B cells to produce them, and this is also a true statement because in our body it is only these B cells which can produce antibodies, and these T lymphocytes facilitate B lymphocytes to produce these antibodies. So both the statements are correct. Now choose the correct option. The very first option given is statement B is correct and A is incorrect. This is incorrect. Both the statements are incorrect. This is also incorrect. Statement A is correct and B is incorrect. This is not true. The last option is both the statements are correct, and this is a correct option. So the correct option for this question is option number 4. Let's discuss our next question. Question number 178. The regression in size of which organ is associated with reduction in the power of defense against invasion by pathogens with aging? Now in this question, and which is responsible for providing the power of defense against pathogens in our body? And the given options are bone marrow, spleen, thymus and Peyer's patches. So first you will find out that which among the following given option is a primary lymphoid organ. So we know that bone marrow and thymus are primary lymphoid organs. So spleen and Peyer's patches cannot be our correct answers. Among the given option, that is bone marrow and thymus, we know that thymus, which is situated near heart and where T cell maturation occurs, is an organ which is quite large at the time of birth. But it keeps on reducing in size with age, and by the time of puberty, it reduces to a very small size, and this is a case of atrophy. So the correct answer for this question is thymus, because it is thymus where T cell matures and it keeps on reducing in size. So the correct answer for this question is option number 2. I hope the solution is clear to you. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 179. The antigen binding site of the antibody molecule is called paratope. Epitope recognizing part of antibody comprises of. Now in this given question, it is said that epitope is a part of antigen which is recognized by antibody, and that part which recognizes this epitope is known as paratope, and we have to find out that which option correctly describes this paratope. Now let's see this figure which is given in your NCERT book. Here we have this antigen binding site, and it is this antigen binding site where our epitope binds. Suppose this is your antigen and these are the epitopes. Epitopes are the antigen determining sites on antigen. And this epitope is recognized by this antigen binding site which is present on antibody. Now, this antigen binding site on antibody consists of what? It consists of light chains. One part of this light chain and which is present at the N-terminal and this N-terminal heavy chain. Whereas on the other side we have this constant region of the antibodies which doesn't participate in binding with the antigen. Now, the very first option given in your question is variable part of heavy and light chains. And this is a correct option. As we can see, this antigen binding site consists of variable regions of both light and heavy chains. Now, the second option given is constant part of heavy chain, and this is incorrect because whether it's a constant part of light chain or constant part of heavy chain in providing antigen binding site. The third option given is constant part of light and heavy chain, and this is also incorrect. And the last option given is N and C terminal of both heavy and light chain, and this is also incorrect because it is only the N terminal of both light and heavy chains which will participate in forming the antigen binding site. So the correct answer for this question is option number 1. Now let's discuss our last question. Question number 180, which is our last question. Choose the incorrect statement. The very first statement given is poliovirus is a RNA virus that spreads via fecal-oral route and mainly destroys motor neurons in spinal cord, and this is a correct statement. Polio is a viral disease. It spreads through fecal-oral route and destroys the motor neurons in spinal cord. The next statement given is upon subsequent exposure to antigen, an amnestic response seen in men is dominated by IgG, and this is also a correct statement. As you can see in this picture, the secondary immune response, that is when our body is invaded by the same pathogen second time, then there is this huge immunological response in which IgG is heightened in its levels. So as you can see here, in primary response both IgM and IgG are there, but when there is second exposure to the same antigen, there is secondary antigen exposure, the immunological response is dominated by IgG, and this is an amnestic response. So the second option is correct. Option number 3 is innate immunity is pathogen specific and characterized by memory, and this is an incorrect option because innate immunity is not specific to pathogens and they are not characterized by memory cells. On the other hand, it is acquired immunity which is pathogen specific. So option number 3 is incorrect, and so is the correct answer for our question. The fourth option given is primary and secondary immune response are carried out with the help of special type of lymphocytes which in turn mediates cell-mediated immune response and humoral immune responses, and this is also a correct statement. So the correct answer for this question is option number 3. So with this question, I would like to end up the discussion of this AIATS paper. I hope all your doubts and queries have been solved regarding this paper, and this video solutions were quite helpful to you. Keep learning, keep exploring, and thank you very much for watching.